What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe, bringing you my ranking and review of the 2025 Night of Champions PLE. Now I'm just going to start off by saying I am really mad because I recorded this video literally as soon as I got done watching Night of Champions. I put my thoughts together and I made the video, and my mic wasn't plugged in for the whole video, so the audio was terrible. So now I'm gonna redo it. Now I'm just gonna go through a couple of things. This is my opinion, this is not fact, so if you're mad about it, oh well. And just because a match comes in at number 6 doesn't mean that it was terrible, and just because a match is number 1 doesn't mean it was the best match of all time. This is just ranking the 6 that happened at Night of Champions. Now overall, I think Night of Champions was a very decent pay-per-view. I don't think it was anything amazing. I don't think it was bad. I think all the matches kind of stayed in the middle area of, like, I think a little bit over the middle area of just all the matches being slightly better than average. And that's going to lead right into number 6 on the ranking, which I'm going to go ahead and give to Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Now this match was actually pretty good. This match was not bad by any means. So like I said, just because it's number 6 does not mean it was bad. But I think overall it just didn't have as much to offer as the other matches. I think that a lot of us were just excited that Karrion Kross was on the roster, or on the, I think a lot of us were just glad that Karrion Kross was finally getting TV time, and he was getting it the first match in a while on a freaking big stage like Night of Champions. So I was happy that he was getting a match, and I think Sami Zayn's a great dance partner, and I think they put together an okay match. I wish they would have gone out there and tore the house down so that Karrion Kross could have basically looked at WWE and said, this is why you cannot, keep me on the shelf. I don't know what this whole thing about Karrion Kross not taking back bumps is. Karrion Kross takes a ton of back bumps. He took like 20 in this match. So I don't know what everyone's saying. Karrion Kross doesn't take back bumps. He takes a hell lot of back bump. Whoa, getting canceled now. I think overall it just didn't have as many big spots as the other matches. I think they just kind of ran through their basic offense, which is okay when you haven't seen Karrion Kross wrestle in a long time. So his basic offense kind of feels like, brand new offense because we haven't seen him in so long. There was a very cool spot. I think the best spot of the match was definitely the moonsault by Sami Zayn on the barricade that took out Karrion Kross. And then we of course we had the whole comeback with Sami doing the 3, and I don't understand why some matches they feel the need to do the old, Hulk Hogan's in a bear hug, 1, 2, and he's powering out. But some matches, like especially with Gunther, they just call for the bell. They just ring the bell when they think they're out without even touching, or they just like smack their arm and then call for it. If we're gonna do that, do it every match. Don't save it for specific matches. I think that should be how you lose by, passing out, is the 1, 2, 3. But Sami Zayn picks up a win here like I predicted, so 1-0 in predictions so far. I think that Karrion Kross could have definitely benefited from the win here, but I don't think he needed it. I think he just needed to be on the card, and we can start there and we can move up from there. I think as long as Karrion Kross was getting to wrestle on a big stage like this, that he can go really nowhere but forward from here, but I'm sure WWE will try to make sure he goes backwards. Now number 5 is another match that I think was kind of on the same wavelength as Sami and Karrion, and I was kind of going back and forth on which one I wanted to put here, but I did end up giving number 5 to the Queen of the Ring finals between Asuka and Jade Cargill. Now this match was very, there was no great chemistry. I don't think there was a lot of chemistry between these two. I think these two, this chemistry just did not mesh very well. They weren't really getting too many crazy counters or moves, or I think Jade Cargill and Naomi had great chemistry. I think Asuka and even Alexa Bliss on SmackDown had great chemistry, but I think these two, just their chemistry was kind of off. It was a lot of just their generic moves, the basic stuff. There was a couple cool counters. We had what was that move? We had Asuka going for a roundhouse kick that got countered into a powerbomb by Jade. That was a really cool move. And the Asuka lock getting countered into the Jaded was a very cool counter. I think there was a couple cool counters in this match, but like I said about Sami and Karrion Kross, I think this match overall just didn't have a lot of big spots. It was kind of just going through the motions of a regular match. And for Queen of the Ring finals, I was just hoping that it would have been better, but then at the end we have Jade come out with a win. I think either way this did exactly what it needed to do, because now Asuka is firmly back in the main event scene. She can easily get a title shot and no one's going to second guess it, because she came back, her return match, won a fatal 4-way, next match, and she makes it to the finals of Queen of the Ring. And I think this this definitely is going to benefit Jade more than it benefit Asuka, because I think both of them, I think either way you could put them in a title match tomorrow and no one would question it. But giving it to Jade already has built stories at the main level with Naomi and Bianca when she comes back, and even Tiffany recently. So I think either way this would, and I think Io versus Asuka would be a barn burner at SummerSlam, so hopefully we get that sometime too. But I think either way this match was going to have the correct winner, because either one of these women could lose, but I did predict Asuka to win, so that brings me down to 1-1. At number 4, I'm going to give to the U.S. Championship match between Jacob Fatu, the champion, and Solo Sikoa, the challenger. Now, this is a match that overall I was actually pretty excited for, because like I said in my predictions video, I like that we're taking these guys that, you know, are so used to clogging up the main storylines, and we're giving them pretty much the same storyline, the Bloodline Civil War, the same things, but we're giving it to them on a mid-card level, and I like that because it's not taking up all of the main card time, and we can still have other main eventers while still having that feud going on. I think Solo in this match definitely just continued to come into his own. I think Solo has been slowly progressing, not really in the ring as much, but like character work, he has been doing a lot better recently. And of course, he was mimicking Jacob Fatu in this match, and it was absolutely hilarious. His kind of heel, he's a heel, but he still has some comedic timing in his character. I think that's perfect for him. I think he's really leaning into the comedic side, and it's really working for him. We also had a crazy German suplex by Solo to Fatu, where he did a full rotation, full flip, face bump, and then got right back up. That move was pretty cool. And then I predicted something correctly, which I would get bonus points if I was predicting stuff, because in the predictions I did say that people are talking about Hikuleo making his debut, but no one was talking really too much that I saw about the Tongans coming back. And we did get one of them coming back. Tonga Loa, who's been out since 2023, finally makes his return, and Fatu kicks out of his finisher. So then we saw a crazy Spaceman plancha, you know, kind of like shades of Adrian Neville, to the outside to take out both Tonga and JC Mateo. And I kind of like was like, holy crap, Jacob Fatu can do that, like forgetting that I've seen him a million times down in the independents doing absolutely more insane moves. But then we had another thing that I predicted correctly, and that was that we were saving Hikuleo for Night of Champions. Hikuleo made his debut, coming out, choke slamming Fatu onto the announce table, rolling him in the ring, and letting Solo become your new United States champion. Now, I'm not mad about this at all, strictly for two really reasons. Like, I'm seeing people complaining online about Solo Sikoa being the U.S. champion. I think this is okay, because I think it's okay that we have a leader of a dominant group, especially now that there's 4 members healthy, and when Tama Tonga comes back we'll have 5 members healthy. We have 5 members, and we have the leader with championship gold, and Solo Sikoa has never held a championship. For a guy that's been in the main event scene for years at this point, he's finally just now winning singles gold, and that is okay with me, because he needs to get something on his belt if he wants to continue to be a credible main event threat. And then that also moves Fatu, hopefully after they probably are going to have a rematch, or he's going to Bloodline Civil War with Jimmy and then whoever else they throw in there. We'll get Fatu moving up to the main card, and then like I said in the last video, he will most likely in the next couple years be a WrestleMania main eventer. Fatu is just so good, I could see him moving up to the main card tomorrow. So I think this did great things for both men, because now we can move Fatu up, and Solo has won his first championship. So I think this was the right call, and it's actually the thing that I predicted. So I'm also now 2-1. Coming out at number 3, we have the King of the Ring finals between American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Now, if you watch my predictions, you know that I said I wanted Sami Zayn to be in the spot. Obviously, I think Sami Zayn could have used it a lot more than the 3 guys that were left with him. Actually, what's funny is I think Jey Uso and Sami Zayn could have probably used this win more than the 2 that were in the ring, but that's fine. It looks like we're just going to use King of the Ring to continue to propel a, you know, already built up megastar. I mean, last year we kind of used it to build up Gunther even more. This year we're using it to continue Cody Rhodes' feud with John Cena, and that's what I predicted was going to happen. So go ahead and move my predictions to 4-1, or 3-1, I'm sorry. But I think this match overall wasn't terrible, wasn't great. I think it was better than the other ones, because from like a pure in-ring perspective, the technical work in this match was very good from both men. I think the selling a move or selling an injury as early as Randy was kind of dampened the match a little bit. I think if we could have kind of waited on the back selling for a little bit longer than the first couple minutes of the match, then we could have had a more fast-paced match, because every time Randy started to do something fast-paced, he'd have to take a break because his back hurt, you know. So I think we should have maybe kept the selling a little bit till a little bit later in the match. But we had some pretty cool moves. We had the fake punt from Randy deciding not to punt Cody Rhodes. I think he still went for it, but having that second thought about punting one of his friends, and then later in the match trying to cheat by taking off the turnbuckle pad. Oh yeah, we had a springboard. I think it was either Cody Cutter or a disaster kick that got countered into an RKO, which was very sick, a very cool move. And then back to the turnbuckle pad. So we had the turnbuckle pad get taken off by Randy Orton. It looked like he was trying to cheat, grabbing a chair and just doing all kinds of things to try to cheat to get this win. That's just like showing how desperate Randy Orton is to face John Cena. And then, of course, we then had Cody Rhodes, which we always see that whenever a heel takes off the turnbuckle pad, they're always the ones getting smashed into it. Cody throws him into the turnbuckle pad, crossroads, and Cody is your king of the ring, which, like I said, I predicted. So Cody Rhodes definitely was going to use this to go after John Cena. I couldn't see Randy Orton winning this match. This was always going to be Cody Rhodes, and I think the match was decent and pretty good from a technical standpoint, like I said. And then now we're kind of planting seeds for when Cody does take this championship back from John Cena, which we all know is going to happen at SummerSlam. Randy Orton could definitely be one of the first challengers, because we saw Randy Orton starting to kind of lean back into his heel persona, kind of trying to cheat, giving Cody the death stare afterwards. And then we had a pretty good promo from Cody Rhodes afterwards too, saying like, I know you guys might not like it, but this is what needs to happen. And I like that they're both kind of leaning into the more heelish sides of their character. So they're both still faces right now, but they're both kind of doing more heelish things. And I like that from both men. Both men are great heels, both men are great faces, and I think that Cody Rhodes was the right choice. At number 2, we have a match that I was not really that excited for because it didn't have too much storyline build, and that is Rhea Ripley taking on Raquel Rodriguez in a Saudi street fight. Now, this match is just a match that, like I said, it felt like in my predictions, I said this match felt like it was just put there to be put there, and just fill out the card. But they showed up and they showed out. They had an absolutely great match. First off, we had the powerbomb by Raquel through the piece of the table, like not the actual table, but the piece that sits on top of the table that says, Night of Champions. It was sitting on the barricade, and Rhea Ripley got powerbombed through it. That move was very cool. We had some other great spots where Roxanne Perez coming out to try to help Raquel Rodriguez, continuing to plant the seeds for her to take those titles and eventually probably go against Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley here soon. And she ended up having a trash can put on her head and smacked with a enziguri. That was very cool. We just had a lot of great involvement with the weapons. I don't think they used the weapons as much as they could have, but I think they definitely used them to great effect when they did use them. And I love that we didn't have a Slim Jim table too. That was pretty cool. I guess when you're getting that Saudi money, you don't need money from Slim Jim. But the match did end when the table was set up, and on the turnbuckle we had Rhea and Raquel both on top of it, and we had a top rope avalanche riptide off of the table, and that's how the match ended. I think Rhea Ripley was the correct choice. I think Rhea Ripley is just such a megastar. Giving her another notch is always going to be great. And then, like I said, that's going to continue to lead into most likely Roxanne taking one of those tag titles to go against Nikki and Rhea, probably at Evolution. And I think this match was very good for what it was. I think it was very, very good, because this match, like I said, was just thrown on there. It was the match I was least excited for, and I came out of it being one of my favorite matches of the night. My second favorite match, to be specific, and I did pick Rhea to win, so put me at 4-1. And then at number 1 is a match that seems kind of controversial right now, because I see people talking crap about it and I see people saying it's one of the best. But number 1 is the WWE Undisputed Championship match between CM Punk and John Cena. Now this match had everything. This match was like mainly a callback to their 2011 feud. This match had all kinds of different spots that just call back to their old feuds, like the crossbody roll through into the AA and a couple of different moves. We didn't get to see a pile driver, which really sucked, because if you saw my predictions, I said I wanted to see a pile driver get busted out like CM Punk did to John Cena back on Monday Night Raw. But we didn't get to end up seeing a pile driver or a Hurricane Rana for that fact, because John Cena pulled out a Hurricane Rana in that match too. So either one of those moves would have been pretty cool. But we didn't get to see either of them. I think this match then became, I don't want to say overbooked, because I think it was pretty. We also had CM Punk locking in his wife's finisher, the Black Widow, on John Cena at one point. And this match was very good back and forth. It wasn't anything special, wasn't terrible. Before we started all the interference, it was just kind of, your typical match, what you expect from a couple guys who are slightly past their prime, but still able to go. Because they're, like I said, they're still two of the best. They're still able to go fully, but I feel like they were just pulling out their best hits. Until then, we started the interference, which then honestly boosted the match a lot. We had Seth Rollins coming out with Braun and Braun security. which is what Santi's been calling them, and they come out to try to cash in. We have, first of all, a scary suicide dive where CM Punk went to dive onto Braun, and he just went flying right past him and almost literally like smacked into the announce table. That was pretty scary. But then we have, of course, Sami Zayn and Penta coming out to help CM Punk and make sure that Seth Rollins doesn't cash in. And now I can see right now, I'm pretty sure that Penta's spot is supposed to be LA Knight. I think LA Knight's supposed to be the one here helping, take out Braun security so that Seth Rollins doesn't cash in, because I think that's what the feud we were looking for. But now that Penta is here, because LA Knight's, of course, sadly injured, which really sucks because I was really excited for that program. Now that he's injured, it looks like Penta's taking that spot. So Penta and Sami Zayn take out Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed gets taken out by John Cena. And then when Seth's trying to cash in too, at one point, Charles Robinson, Lil Nate, comes running down the freaking, recreating the meme from back in the day where he comes running down, and John Cena just absolutely pelts him, knocks him out, like pounces him, and then gets in the ring face off with Seth Rollins. And John Cena's kind of then teasing like being a face. He's not going to hit him with the title at one point, and he's helping, like he's taking down a heel in Seth Rollins, but in like a good guy-ish way, if that makes sense. And like everything he's doing, he's just acting like a good guy all of a sudden, and that's like planting the seeds. And then we get to the finish where CM Punk and Cena are in the ring. They hug, they make up, and then Cena goes for the low blow. Punk reverses it, and that leads to John Cena ended up picking up the win, which puts my final predictions at 5-1. I was only one off, almost had a completely right session. Almost had a completely right predictions, almost went 6-0, but I did miss one. But this match was very good from start to finish. I think they had some pretty good technical wrestling in the ring. They had some pretty good just callbacks, and then of course all the interference afterwards. I think this match definitely deserved to be number one on this pay-per-view. That definitely felt like it wasn't, like I said, wasn't the best. But that is all I have for you. This is my second time recording this, so hopefully I didn't leave anything out because I had so much to talk about. But if you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite match from this pay-per-view was. If you want to see weekly awards, that will be coming out hopefully shortly after this one, most likely tomorrow. This one will probably be coming out Sunday night because, like I said, I would have had it out Saturday night if my mic decided not to unplug itself. So this will probably come out Sunday night, and I'll have weekly awards for you probably Monday. But if you did enjoy, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you want to be notified whenever I drop a video like this, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
This happened if I had real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this.
Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
We had at one point where Rhea Ripley was tied up in the ropes, kind of got me excited.